Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics, with your update on this week's 19,117 regulatory alerts. As you know, I cover whatever I find interesting, but if you would like a custom regulatory update through video, it is a new service we're providing. You can pay us to produce a weekly, monthly, or quarterly video just for you, your employees, or your customers on a topic that you care about. In the meantime, you're at the mercy of my own intellectual interests. The regulator of the week is Delaware. Why? Yes, it was one of the few states who passed any bills at all this week, with a whopping 10 passed bills. But there was one, which is a change to the Uniform Commercial Code. This matters because most companies in the world most U.S. companies are actually registered in Delaware. And the UCC pretty much applies to any business transaction at all. They updated the code to include new concepts like NFTs and other digital assets. Also, electronic communications generally. So take a look and see if there are any changes that might benefit or impact you. The topic of the week, unfortunately, is wildfires. Obviously, Hawaii is awful, and my heart goes out to all of the people of Maui and all of the Hawaiian Islands. The president is there with the First Lady, touring everything now. Additionally, FEMA has announced funds for, in addition to Hawaii, now Washington and Oregon for the fires there. I was out there last week and we flew over the gray clouds above Spokane, and it really did not look good. In other depressing climate news, Louisiana continued a state of emergency over its coastal areas. I did not know this, but Louisiana continues to experience one of the fastest rates of coastal erosion in the world, and this ecosystem is actually disappearing at an alarming rate. From 1932 to 2010, Louisiana lost more than 1,800 square miles of land, and the causes are also sad because it's a collection of bad things. Climate change, sea level rise, hurricanes, storm surges, flooding, disconnecting the Mississippi River from the coastal marshes, and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. Anyway, I did not know any of this, and now I do, and so do you. So, I don't know. Let's go donate to help some of the charities that address climate change or something. What do we do? Speaking of the Earth, the UK Space Agency announced there are 10 new projects that will use Earth observation tools, AI, satellite tracking, and more to produce forecasts and models that will allow businesses, governments, and others to understand and mitigate risks. This data can be used by sectors ranging from agriculture to energy to finance and insurance. And the idea is it will help identify opportunity for green financing that they can measure at real time from these satellites. So there's good news. And speaking of traveling the Earth, starting September 1st, crypto asset businesses in the UK will be required to collect, verify, and share information about crypto asset transfers, known as the travel rule. The Financial Action Task Force is trying to push other countries that are involved in that to adopt the travel rule as well. So we'll see if that lands in the US soon. Speaking of data collection, the White House convened a roundtable to discuss data brokers and how they monetize our personal information. The CFPB is also looking into passing rules on this because they want to ensure that these practices don't harm the consumers, us, right? And speaking of annoying people, the fines for the do not call list went up, but I don't think they're high enough. It's $78 a fine for any zip code that you use on that's not supposed to be on there. And the max fine for failing all the zip codes and calling every single people in all the zip codes, it's only went up from $20,000 to $21,000. I would hope it would be more than that because telemarketing calls are so annoying. Last but not least, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission is pleased to announce new regulations more clearly explaining the definitions of sex, religious creed, and race are now effective in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. According to the new regulations, the protected class of sex, and when I say protected class, this means you can't discriminate against someone in Pennsylvania for any of the following reasons: pregnancy status, childbirth status, breastfeeding status, sex assigned at birth, gender identity or expression, affectional or sexual orientation, and differences in sex development. Additionally, the regulations consider within the protected class of race to include that you cannot discriminate based on traits associated with race, including hair textures and protective hairstyles. And that's it this week for RegAlytics. Join me every Wednesday for your dose of regulatory news.